Oftentimes, when we eat too much, it feels like self sabotage. But sometimes we just don't know when to stop eating. Just the other day, a woman told me a story, and she had just come home. Her family was home. She had prepared a dinner beforehand, and her whole family was around the table. Excellent mood, no emotional eating. She wasn't like in a chaotic state. She just ate too much. And when her family even started helping her to clean up the table and so forth, she had to sit down and excuse herself. And she felt incredibly guilty that she had done something wrong, that her bloated stomach was just a sign of failure. And today we're going to be covering 3 steps you can use in your life to understand when you're full, when it's time to stop eating. These 3 steps are: 1, slow down. I'm not talking that you need to go super slow, but you need to slow down and bring a little bit of mindfulness to your eating. 2, if you are slowed down, if you have brought a bit of mindfulness, you will be able to notice the yellow light signal. The yellow light signal means slow down. What is the yellow light signal? It's when food doesn't taste as good. I'm going to go more in depth into this signal because it's really, really important later on in the video. But the 3rd step is then reflecting and learning without guilt. Because just like a yellow light, if you remember driving, I don't know about you, but I would go past I would go into the intersection because I didn't know how to slow down. So I would go too far. I would overshoot. I was a beginning driver. I was 16. We make mistakes when we're learning, and that's okay. We need to be able to reflect and learn without any guilt or judgment so that we can improve and master this skill. Now, it's not the only piece to the puzzle, don't get me wrong. There are other pieces that are important, but this is a valuable skill you can learn, and it's pretty easy to apply, and it's pretty powerful. So let's just dive in. I'm going to start with step 3 because it's really, really important, and then we'll work our way back, and I'll give you a challenge exercise, which hopefully is going to be exciting. So, step 3, learning without guilt. So, when I first started driving, I was 16 and maybe I was 15, whatever. It was in the foothills of Sacramento, and my dad and I, we'd practice driving around in the middle school parking lot on the weekends when there were no other cars, there were no stoplights, there was no other traffic. And I remember thinking to myself, yeah, I got this. This is pretty simple. And honestly, you might feel that way after watching this video, but I want to give you a little bit of warning because once I actually started driving, I realized, holy crap, this is different than the easy practice that I had gotten in the middle school parking lot. It was like, whoa. And I remember, probably one of my first yellow lights, I was driving and I didn't know when to brake. So I totally waited too long and I slammed on the brakes and I skidded out in the intersection. It was really bad. But it was my first time driving. So it's okay. It was expected that I wasn't going to be a good driver. And we need to bring this expectation for you that you're going to overshoot the mark. You're going to overeat. Just because you listen to this video, you still need to practice in real life scenarios. Now, of course, with the yellow light, I was able to reflect and learn. I was able to say, okay, so, I was this far away from the yellow when the light turned yellow, and I was going this fast, and this is the result. So next time, if I'm this far away in the yellow light, I better slow down way quicker to make it to that yellow light, to make it to the intersection and not go over. So we want to have that same mentality for eating. Now, what's the yellow light for eating? Well, let's get into step 2. The yellow light is this interesting phenomenon, and it's always there. It's biological, and it's always there. It's when food tastes less good. Tastes less good. What the hell does that even mean? Well, just imagine you're eating ice cream, and let's say you're starving. Let's say it's in the let's say in the middle of a desert and you haven't had food in one day and you're starving and then someone brings you to a shelter and gives you an ice cream container. Oh my God. That first bite of ice cream. Oh, coolness, the the liquid melting. It's going to be so good. But let's fast forward to bite number 100. 1, 2, 3, 10, 20, 30, 40. Do you really even think you're going to make it to 100 bites? What's happening? Let's break that down. Somewhere between bite 1, which is so good, and bite 100, which is like blah, I don't even want to eat it anymore. There's a continuum. And food starts out really good. Oh my God, I'm so hungry. It tastes really good. But there's a moment which, if you pay attention to it, there's a moment, a transition period where the food just doesn't taste as good. It's like, oh, that doesn't taste as good. And that yellow light, the number one problem people have is they mistake. They want more sensation, right? So let's say you're eating a nice big meal and the food just doesn't taste as good. What most people do is they go get more. They're chasing a sensation. They want more flavor. So they say, okay, this food I'm having isn't good. I'm gonna have more food so that I get more flavor. But that's not the body. That's your mind. That's your tongue. That's emotional eating right there. The body is deliberately decreasing the intensity of your taste buds. The body is decreasing the taste buds' ability to taste because it's trying to tell you, yellow light, stop eating. Listen, the body is going to tell you to eat. Remember the idea of pleasant hunger? Pleasant hunger is when you start thinking about food. You start your taste buds open up. You start noticing aromas. Your appetite starts to increase. Maybe you salivate. Maybe your belly starts to grumble and growl. This is your body telling you it's time to eat. And your body rewards you when it's time to eat by making food taste really, really good. In the beginning of a meal, you'll notice if you're coming from a place of moderate hunger, food tastes really good. And it is a little sad. It is a little sad when the taste sensations die down. But we need to realize that these taste sensations dying down, this is just a natural part. It's your body getting full. It's your body saying, okay, it's time to slow down. If you continue eating at this pace, we're gonna get too full. We're gonna get bloated. We don't need this much. It's just excess food. It's not doing any good. It's not gonna make you feel better. Slow down. That's what your body's trying to say. So we need to be aware when the food decreases in intensity. And I know, and you will notice this. If you pay attention, you will notice there's a time when somewhere in the meal, the food just all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, it doesn't taste as good. You notice it. Now, we have to be careful here. We have some wiggle room. The yellow light does not necessarily mean you have to stop eating on a dime. It means it's time to slow down. We're reaching the end of the meal, and the biological cue, it's gonna turn yellow even if you have a ton of food left over on your plate. The body and the belly, it's gonna tell you when to stop eating, and you might have a lot of food on your plate, and you might have to make a decision. My body is telling me that the food isn't tasting as good, the hunger signals are no longer there. These are warning signs. These are yellow light signs. It's time to slow down. Eating more food than this isn't necessary. And you're gonna need to hone this. Every meal you have a chance to practice. For example, you might undershoot. You might stop too far away from the intersection. For example, you might feel a yellow light signal and you might stop eating all of a sudden. But then like maybe an hour or two later, you're hungry again. And so you realize, oh, I needed to eat more. The yellow light was telling me to slow down, but I needed to eat a little bit more to get at that sweet, comfortable food satisfaction fullness. And other times, maybe you overshoot. The yellow light goes, you slow down eating, but you eat too much, you get too full. So these are why we need to reflect and learn from our eating experiences without guilt, because you're not going to be perfect. But let's go on to step one. Step one is slowing down. And I'm not talking super duper slow like a tortoise. I'm not talking where you have to close your eyes in the work cafeteria and just meditate while you mindfully eat with your eyes closed for 20 minutes. No. Hell no. Hell no. I'm talking a few bites at the beginning of a meal. I'm talking put down your phone for a few minutes while you eat. Tune in at the beginning of your meal. This is doable. This is doable. I'm not asking you to do stuff that's not realistically going to happen. But just the intention of eating 10% slower and putting down the phone for a little bit. You don't have to even put the phone down for the whole meal. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm talking slow down a little bit, because the flip side is when you're go. When you're go, work, deadline, gotta talk to this person, no time for myself, stress, blah, blah, blah. Oh, hell no, you are not. You are not gonna notice this little yellow light signal. Hell no. Hell no. If you think about it, a binge eating attack occurs after many yellow lights. Your body is screaming at you. Yellow light, yellow light, yellow light. Like, take more care of yourself. Decrease your stress. Pause for self-care. You know, your body's giving you signals. But if you're in a stressed out mood, remember, stress is like, it's noise. So when there's all this noise, it's hard to actually understand what your body is saying. There's all these hormones that are disrupting you and all these different things that are flooding your body. It's hard to even notice when your body is telling you to slow down. So if you're really, really go, it's going to be hard to notice the yellow light signals. But don't get me wrong, you do not need to be in a Zen, yogic, you do not need to be in a spa, relaxed, chill. You do not need to be in this like peaceful mindset to pull off and to succeed at the yellow light signal. You don't need to be totally stressed. You don't need to be totally relaxed to notice a yellow light signal. But if you're totally stressed out, you're going to miss it. So there's a fine line. It's really about bringing some intention, some consciousness, just a little bit. Just like, okay, I'm going to taste one bite. I'm going to put down the phone. I'm going to eat one bite really damn slowly. I'm going to taste it. I'm going to taste my food and see if I actually like it, right? Because the yellow light signal is all about taste. When does the taste decrease? If you're zoning out on your phone, if you're wolfing down stuff while you're thinking, you're going to miss the taste. And it's not like you need to totally savor, but you need to taste a bit. You need to taste your food. Because there will be a point, I guarantee it, this is life-changing, when you're eating and the food doesn't even taste good. And it's like, you don't even want the food anymore. And it's like, then you get this eating enlightenment when it's like, oh, why the hell am I eating? The food doesn't even taste good. And that right there is freedom. That right there is this beautiful moment where it's like, oh, I don't even like the food I'm eating. I don't even want to eat. Now, don't get me wrong. There are belief patterns like this expectation that you need to clean your plate, you need to finish your plate. Obstacles like that might come up, but it's not in the scope of this video. However, my quick word on obstacles like clean your plate belief is the food is already on your plate. It's either gonna be, you got two options. The food's on your plate. It's already been served. It's not going back into the refrigerator. It's either going in the trash or it's going in your belly. And your belly is telling you, don't eat it. It's not going to make you feel good. It's just going to pack your gut more. It's extra calories, it's extra digestion. You might feel even guilty after eating it. So it's either your belly or the trash. Okay? So just saying, that's the quick word on when you feel pressure to clean your plate, okay? Now what you can do is you can put the food in a Tupperware container. You can have leftovers. Okay? You can easily have leftovers. That's probably the middle ground compromise. Anyways, that's a little bit of a side tangent. To recap, slow down. Notice the taste, especially notice when the taste decreases. That's a sign to slow down, you're approaching fullness. And then third, this is a skill. You're going to overshoot the mark. So don't beat yourself up if you do. What are your thoughts on this training? Now, we do have a final challenge exercise. And this is kind of exciting. It's actually very simple. It's how to train yourself. It's a fun little exercise to notice fullness sensations. So, hold on. I'm going to demonstrate it right now. So this glass of water, this is a way you can start noticing fullness sensations. I know fullness has not been the scope of this video, but this goes along with the yellow light training. What you do is on a semi-empty stomach, perhaps you're at a level 3 of hunger, all you do is you slowly, mindfully drink water and notice how your belly changes. Because after a couple glasses, you'll notice your belly is getting stretched. You'll notice that your belly is getting a little bit, like, you'll get this feeling in your stomach that you don't want a fourth or fifth glass of water. You don't want it. It's not going to be good. Your belly's getting stretched. And so the supplementary training for this video is for you to practice. Sit down and drink a glass of water. And keep drinking it. And just notice how your stomach feels. Tune into your stomach. If you do this a couple more times, man, you're not going to make it. I mean, this is a big glass of water. Maybe you have a smaller glass, so you might need more cups. But notice how your stomach starts to feel. Your stomach is going to start to expand, and it's going to be like, okay, no more water. In fact, I can already feel it after this water. I'm like, I actually had a glass of water before this video, so this is like 2 glasses of water. I think I had some coffee and breakfast, so I'm full. And this is a safe way for you to get in touch with fullness, because another really, really important aspect of this training, which I'm kind of hinting at right now, but it's that fullness. Noticing fullness along with the decrease in taste. These are like double yellow lights. Slow down. Your stomach's expanding. Taste is going down. Slow down. So we'll get to the fullness training in another video, but I just wanted to give you a little test. Sit down, drink some water, tune into fullness. All right, thanks for tuning in. Have a great day. Peace.